to another edition of Crenshaw Corner. I am Sanchez Crenshaw. As always, I am joined by the most sexy, chocolatey, vivacious, curvaceous, little smurfette-looking woman that I know.
What was vivacious again?
Curvaceous.
And what was the other one?
Vivacious.
Is that a word?
Vivacious?
Yeah.
It's going to be today.
All right. Thank you. Hey, what's going on, family? What is going on? This is Angela Crenshaw. What is going on,
That's my wife, family?
What is going on? Hey,
That's my wife, family.
Sanchez.
Hey, babe. Actually, I think no one's really used the word vivacious since like 1953. I think I might have went
Is
back.
that your?
I think I might have went back a little bit on
Were
that
you
one.
born then?
Nah, but I think you were like 8 in 53, right?
You think so?
Yeah.
Not gonna hear a lot of the rumbling in here in a minute, but go ahead.
There you go. Starting my
Go
life
ahead,
again.
get your little house cleaning out because we got some stuff to do. So
We got
come
some
on,
stuff to do?
we got some
All
stuff
right.
to do. So go ahead.
So, family, first of all, for our new members of the family,
yes,
we thank you guys for joining us.
Guys.
However you found us, whether that was on iTunes, Podbean,
Come on now.
Spotify,
Come on now.
Google Play, however
Yes.
you found us, we thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, guys.
We thank you for coming along on this journey.
Yes,
And
it is
for-
a journey.
It is a journey.
It's a journey.
It's a journey that
journey.
you're never quite sure what you're going to get.
No, you don't know.
but it is a journey worth taking.
Yes.
And then also for our returning family members, just thank you
Thank you
for
guys
being a
for
part of us.
sticking with us, man.
Definitely thank you for sticking with us. We
Yes.
appreciate you. We appreciate all the great feedback we've received.
Yes.
We appreciate the criticism we've received as well.
Yeah. Questions.
The questions we received. Everything. So we
Yeah.
just thank you guys. We do consider ourselves an interactive podcast. And what that means is simply you can find us on the socials. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook, all under Crenshaw Corner. Mm-hmm. And then we have an email address of The Crenshaw Corner
The Crenshaw Corner. Say
at
it again.
gmail.com. Once again, The Crenshaw
I like
Corner
it.
at gmail.com. And before I turn it over to you and before we kind of go into it, there's one other thing I want to touch on real quick. In our previous episode of Midweek Moment, we were very excited. We mentioned, there's 4 ways to listen to us currently.
We did.
And then we also said that there was an upcoming announcement of a 5th way that you'd be able to
Yes.
listen to Crenshaw Corner.
And check us out.
Well, I want to go
Yeah.
ahead and announce that. So we've actually launched a webpage.
We did. Come
So,
on.
yes,
I'm
yes.
clapping for myself. We should have had that sound machine where when you say
Like a
something,
drum
it
roll?
claps. A drum roll and a clap.
claps?
Like a background clap. I should have had that prepared. But anyway, go ahead. Okay, I'm sorry.
So we've officially launched our own website.
We
so it's
did.
www.thecrenshawcorner.com. Once again, www.thecrenshawcorner.com.
Yes.
And it tells you more about us as a married couple, kind of a little bit more about our journey. It actually also gives you ability to listen to all our podcasts in one location.
Yes.
We are actually doing a blog as well.
Yes, coming up.
So we'll be blogging on this site. And then also it gives you a way to actually not only listen to Crenshaw Corner, but from time to time, we're also posting live recordings that we do.
Some of our Wednesday.
Some of our midweek moments.
I guess Wednesday and I got stuff. So I was looking for you for an answer.
Okay. It's
You saw
okay.
me look for
I
you
saw
for. I was
you.
like,
I
please
saw
help. Please help, babe.
So once again, www.thecrenshawcorner.com. Podcasts are available there. Live videos are available there. Blogs available there. It's also another way you can contact us. So check out the website. We would love for you to kind of join us on that journey as well.
Yes. And are we still putting on the blog page? Are we still putting what people are saying? Are we still doing that as well?
We haven't started it, but we will.
We can.
Yes.
Yeah.
we can.
Okay. I was just checking.
That's no problem.
He the IT guy. He fired me, so I really don't know what's going on, guys. If y'all
no,
listen to us long enough, y'all know I get fired. I gets fired all the time as a social.
I'm just saying.
I'm still not doing good on that social media end, though.
That's why I keep firing you from it.
I started strong, and then
and that's why I'm still accepting resumes.
Yeah, so we did have somebody apply. I fired her on the spot.
You fired her on the spot?
Yeah, I fired her. I told her no.
That's not right.
Our little sister. I told her absolutely not. She tried it. She tried me. Okay, so listen.
What's up, babe?
So we're guys, if you know right now, we on taking questions about premarital. relationships.
So yes, if you haven't listened to Midweek Moment,
Yes.
go back and listen to it. That'll get you caught up with where we are.
Yeah.
We have been, throughout our 20-year journey of marriage, we've had the opportunity and we've been blessed
Yeah.
to be able to speak with a lot of different couples at different stages of their relationship, whether they were just starting a date, whether they were thinking about getting married, whether they were already engaged, whether they had been married for a year, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, in one case, 30 some odd years.
Yeah, which was weird.
Which was weird, but it was a beautiful thing. We've been asked a lot of questions, and so we want to kind of follow up on that.
Yeah.
And one of the questions that we got asked was about roles.
Yeah.
And here's what I mean by that. So once again, kind of staying with the expectation versus reality.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone comes into a marriage with what they think their role should be. And then society also tells you, as a man, you know, your role should look like this.
Yeah.
As a woman, your role should look like this. So my question to you, Bae, is that was there a difference for you from what you thought your role was going to be in this marriage to actually what your role ended up being in this marriage?
I don't even think that I thought of what my role was. I only said it because I was busy watching married couples
Right.
versus thinking. So I can't even say it was my thought. It was kind of like me watching them, and yeah, I could say thought. Me watching them and thinking that I should do the same thing. So yeah, a thought. You're right about
Okay.
that.
So what did you see?
Watching my mom and dad. So my mom, phenomenal woman, loved loved her husband to no end.
She loves your husband too.
She do love you. I think she tells you that she loves Sanchez
She
more than she
prefers me
loves
more
me.
than she
She
prefers
says
you.
it all the time.
She
So
does.
I keep reminding her that he married into the family. I am the child. I am who she gave birth to.
I'm phenomenal, though. I'm phenomenal.
Oh, here you go. But anyway, what I thought it would be, in actuality, because watching my mom ironed all of my dad's uniforms.
Right.
She always cooked. My dad very rarely cooked. He very my mom was like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner kind of person.
Okay.
Even though she worked.
Right.
So she packed his lunch and she cooked for him all the time. So I thought that my role was to make sure, again, like her, that the house was clean and that your clothes were always on point. Cause she put starch. Like dad's uniforms was on point.
Mommy starch everything.
Yeah, so
boxers, t-shirts.
Yeah, so
Mommy starch
yeah,
everything.
so it was crazy. So I thought that was part of a role. Yeah, I would work, but my role is I could still work, but my role was still to make sure the house was taken care of.
Right.
That my husband would be taken care of. That that I still would do all the cooking. So those are the things that I thought it would be. As far as marriage, I also thought that I wanted and thought that the kind of love that they had, it was real. Like most people was like, oh, that's just a Cosby. You watch a Cosby show and they be like, oh, that's just for TV. But I saw true, real live, crazy love.
Right.
And my parents, still holding hands. So I thought that it would always be, we would still be romantic. We would still hold hands. We would still go at it. We would still argue. I don't even know if they really argue. My dad said one word, my mama ignored him and they moved on with their life.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much. So I just thought that marriage was good. It was genuine, but my role in it was to make sure that I took care of the house. And I could work, but to make sure I took care of the house. And working, this is going to be weird, y'all, but working was an option. Because my dad always gave my mother options. She never really had to work.
Right.
He made enough money. So it was an option if she wanted. If one day she decided, don't want to do that no more, then she didn't have to do it. So I thought I came into marriage with that. Like, look, Chad, if I don't want to work with my pocketbook, I'm leaving, And the funny part about it is that is reign true in our marriage. You've always given me the option.
Yeah,
if
I've always given you the
If
option.
I want to work or don't want to work, it's always been up to me. I just chose to work, but you always said, I'll take care of everything. If I have to work 2 or 3 jobs, you don't have to work, babe. So it's so funny that as we're having this discussion, I kind of feel like we turned to my parents and I don't even know how it happened.
Okay, so then that leads me to the next question then. So did your expectation of your role, did it match reality? So did it end up kind of being the same or did it differ?
I think it kind of end up being the same, but I'm not as much as my mama did, because
What does that
yeah,
mean?
Because
Enlightened family, what that mean? Because I know what it means, but enlightened family, what that mean?
he not getting the 3 meals. I tried it. No, I did try, guys. I tried, y'all. So, but at one point I felt kind of bad about it because I felt like I was disappointing you as a husband because I had seen it being done, and I felt like as a wife I wasn't living up to the expectation or the role that I'm supposed by what I saw.
Right.
Right. And so, But then I realized that it don't always work like that, and that my reality is that I'm not going to always be able to cook 3 meals. Don't know how my mama did it.
And she scheduled her time properly.
Really, is that what you're gonna
Is
say?
what
You just
she
love.
did.
You just love.
I'm just saying.
You just love your mama.
She scheduled her time properly.
Whatever.
Anyway, please continue.
Anyway, so so I had to realize that my expectation and my reality was different in that area as far as cooking all the time.
Right.
And then I had to realize that I didn't marry my dad too. It's like, you remind me of my dad. I think that most women do marry a version of their dad.
Yeah.
But I realized that I had to come down from that because you enjoy cooking more than I did, and you cook better than I do, and so was willing.
That's what you always say.
Yeah,
that's your reason for not cooking.
Yes, but I do. But you do, come on now, you do love cooking more than I do. Tell the truth.
No, I love cooking more than you do,
and you do cook better than me.
I'm not gonna say necessarily I'm a better cook than you. It's just I recognize that food needs seasoning.
Oh, you gonna take it there?
And just salt and pepper is not a seasoning.
Well, this is the thing. I don't really enjoy seasonings, people. I know my family do, and I do put salt and pepper, but his problem is all I do is when I do, I only put minimum salt and pepper, and that's it.
That makes bland food.
Whatever, dude, whatever. But look, how we got off of this?
I
digress. So I realized that it was a sharing thing. Not that my dad probably wouldn't have cooked. He cooked like when he had these things of these really like meals that he really wanted to cook.
When he had cravings for
certain things. He would cook. He would get, and he could burn, but it wasn't like my mother really gave him an option because she was always doing it, I think. And I think that I opened the door for you to go ahead and cook, bro.
The New Yorker just came out of you for a second.
Did it?
Yeah.
What'd I say?
Oh, because he can burn.
He can burn. So I was like, okay, so we gave each other options of it. Like, you came in, was like, babe, no, I'll cook. You came in going, babe, I'll cook. I got it tonight, or whatever the case is, which opened a whole door.
Yeah, I kind of wish I wouldn't have
done that. A whole box for me, boy.
Oh, that was Pandora's box.
Yes, it was, and I was excited. Far as the ironing is concerned, I still do that, because I iron for...
Because I won't. I refuse.
Because Sanchez won't iron.
I won't.
He won't iron people. So that, I think my expectation and my reality is the same, because I have to have clothes ironed. And like my mom, I'm a starcher. I like to iron. I don't like wrinkle. Sanchez is, y'all, his thought process of ironing his clothes, if I let him, is he throw them in the dryer. Put a dry sheet. Good 10 minutes. Take it out, shake it, put it on. He is done. That's horrible.
That takes the wrinkles out.
That's horrible.
Takes the wrinkles out.
No, I always thought too. My expectation, and my reality too, is that how you look going out, how you and the kids went out, was representation of myself, and that was a hard one for me. When the reality is the representation. Yes, I still feel it's a representation, but it's a representation of who you are, and that doesn't
nothing to do with the home.
That doesn't have nothing to do with the home and the mom that I am and the wife that I am, and that took some getting used to.
You still fall back into that.
Yeah.
You still have those moments now.
Yeah, I'll be like, ooh, because we got kids that got a lot of hair and don't want to comb it, and
straight natural.
Straight natural. Yeah. And like, and my daughter found, when she could, found her own fashion sense, and, which was more leggings and a sweatshirt.
When you allowed it to.
When I allowed more sweatshirts and a pair, she's very tomboyish, and so it was just different.
I think for me, the biggest thing was, because coming back a little bit for me, pulling back the curtain a little bit, is that I didn't grow up in a 2-parent household.
Okay.
So I grew up in a single mother household.
Okay.
My biological parents divorced when I was 4 years old.
Okay.
So my biological father was in and out. He stayed out more than in. But so the marriage that I saw now was my grandparents.
Okay.
So that's the marriage that I saw. That was the husband and wife that I always encountered on a daily, regular basis.
Right.
And so for me, it was an old school mentality when it comes to roles in a marriage.
Okay.
Where my grandmother did everything. To my recollection, and I do not believe I'm wrong.
I do not believe I'm wrong. You kill me.
No,
but go ahead.
My grandmother never worked outside the home.
Okay. Wow.
Once they got married, I know early in her life she was a nanny, I believe, to a family. But that was only because her mother was the housekeeper. For the family, and this was during the time which was crazy, she was allowed to watch their kids, but she wasn't allowed to come in through the front door.
Wow.
She had she can only enter the home through the rear.
Right.
So it's during that period of time.
Right.
But if I remember correctly, she never once they got married, she never worked outside of the home. Mm-hmm. So she did everything. She cooked, she cleaned, she did the laundry. I mean, she did everything.
Right.
I do not ever recall my grandfather ever doing anything housework related.
Really?
I don't recall.
Not on the spur of the moment, just
Not on
because.
the spur of the moment, not a just because.
Oh, holy Toledo!
Not a anything. I don't recall my grandfather, and once again, my grandfather's a great man. I love my grandfather. He is everything to me. But like housework, anything traditional like that, no, I don't ever recall seeing him actually. You know what? Now that I think about it, I don't even recall my grandfather ever seeing him even fix his own plate. Like actually going into the kitchen like to fix something, make a sandwich or anything like that. I don't recall ever seeing him do that. Now, of course, he probably at some point has done it.
Just you didn't see it.
But and I spent the majority of my life with them because we end up living with them at different periods throughout my child rearing. I actually stayed with them for a good part of my childhood. So I don't ever recall. Like, my grandmother always fixed his plate. My grandmother always brought him food. My grandmother, once he was done, we would always come get it from him, either my grandparents, my grandmother, or myself, or my brother, or somebody in the family would get it from him. So I came into, to be honest, it kind of with that same mentality of certain things I shouldn't have to do.
Right.
You broke me of that very quickly. Because
that sounds so bad.
Because what I didn't do was marry somebody like my grandmother. That's what I didn't do.
So bad.
No, it's not a bad thing, but I didn't marry Annie Good. I didn't do that. I married a very opinionated, and my grandmother was very strong-willed. She was very opinionated, but she came from that time. This is what you do.
This is what you do.
There is no other option. This is what you do.
And I think that was my mom. Like, this is what you do. But of course, Pop, he would always make a decision. Like I said, if he felt something was really good, he wanted to cook, he would cook for them. But I think because of that is what she did, he kind of just stopped.
Yeah.
If that
kind of broke Pop when it came to that.
Yeah. Things that he wanted to do for her or whatever, he kind of stopped because she would give him the option to do it. So he was like, okay, well, she just wants to do it. And I think a lot of times I came in with that too, with that perspective but my idea is do it, get it done like my mom. But the reality was I also didn't marry my dad, where those times you was like, no, go sit your behind down. Yeah. You're not going to cook. No, I'm going to get this laundry today. You look like you're tired. Go lay down somewhere. So you were very much like, okay, I understand you want to do everything, but go sit your behind down because you're just not going to do it.
And a lot of that was because certain thought processes and I had to be broken of. One thing you helped me realize, which you always say, is that I kind of came into the relationship kind of a chauvinist.
Yeah, you did.
I was a little bit chauvinistic coming into the relationship, where it's not that your opinion did not matter. It just didn't matter as much as mine.
Right.
And
I don't know who you thought. That was your idea.
Yeah,
was that your idea?
That was not my reality.
Okay, because that was your idea.
That was my idea.
Your idea. Because, no, sir.
I respected your thought process. I respected your intelligence. However, I respected your voice. However, my voice carried more weight.
Yeah, that's what you thought.
Because that's how I was raised.
Yeah.
And like I said, my grandparents, beautiful people, loved them, missed them. They're no longer with us, missed them tremendously. But my grandfather's voice carried more weight. And it carried more weight throughout the family. And it's just because of who he was.
Right.
I mean, he was a very dominant personality. My grandfather it was a crazy combination because he was a quiet alpha male, which is a crazy combination.
Right.
Like, he was the type of person, that's probably where I get it from. My grandfather did not speak often. But when he spoke, it's just when he spoke. It was that powerful when he did.
That's you.
Yeah.
Everything better be done when you don't say a lot around the house, but when you do, it's like, oh man, we got to get it done. Dad just said that for real. Like me, like, hey guys, can you and you just be quiet, let me do my thing. Then you be like, hey, Can you do that for me? And then but you've always been kind.
Yeah.
I've never heard you rear the kids. We like, you better do this. You're like, hey guys, can you do me a favor? Can you go get that done for me real quick before you leave? And it's done. I'm like, what in the... Because again, I think it's because your voice is not always heard. You don't really say a lot.
Probably so.
And I'm always...
But, yeah.
Talking.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of it too. But so back to the kind of the conversation, like roles. Mm-hmm. So I came into the marriage thinking, that role of kind of that old school traditional, and I said all the time, I'm kind of a walking contradiction, mm-hmm. because even though I had that thought process of I'm the man, mm-hmm. My word is law, mm-hmm. Basically, you do what I tell you to do when I tell you to do it. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, sometimes I still fall into that with you.
You tried.
I get frustrated with you sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you don't listen.
First of all,
you don't listen.
Let me tell you something, guys. This is something that he tells me every other day. He's like, man, you just don't listen.
You don't listen.
I do listen.
Okay.
I listen, but sometimes what you're trying to convey to me.
So you may listen, but you don't hear me.
Okay, I do.
You don't hear me.
I hear you, though.
Could I say one thing?
I hear you, though.
Case in point.
My goodness. It's a case and a point.
We were doing a project together just really recently, and I don't even know if you realize just how much you aggravated the crap out of me with doing this project.
It's cool.
Because the only thing I asked you to do was to look. I just need you to look and tell me something. Mm-hmm. I didn't want you to touch anything. I didn't want you to readjust anything. I just need you to stand there, look pretty, and just look at what we were doing and tell me visually.
You mean verbally?
No, I need it visually first. I need you to just look visually and then verbalize. Just answer the question.
Yeah.
But you don't know how to do that.
I said to you, okay, we need to get a ruler.
Yeah, but I didn't. But you touching stuff.
I went because I
didn't ask you to do that.
I wanted to get this ruler because I'm looking at it, and I think we needed a ruler to see how straight that was.
But that's not what I asked.
I'm action.
But that's not.
I'm an action woman. And I'm a woman of action.
That's my problem. And see, that's when that role theory comes back into play. I'm like, sometimes I miss 1952.
Well, you ain't got 1952, bro.
So I'm not going to. Okay, so I'm going to say this because this is our therapy session. We honest.
Go ahead. Oh,
and
Lord.
I already know family, y'all not going to rock with this, and I'm okay with it.
Go ahead.
Sometimes I miss the concept of I Love Lucy.
What?
And the concept of Dick Van Dyke and the concept of Leave It to Beaver.
Mm-hmm.
No, sometimes I miss those concepts.
What's the concept, bro?
Where the women just did what they was told.
No, well let me.
Well, no, I think Lucy was a bad example.
Right, Lucy never.
She did everything the opposite of what she told her to do.
I do what I'm asked. The whole told process goes over me. I don't even know. I don't. Sometimes, and I'm respectful.
You are.
I'm very respectful, and I think that
not all the time.
I'm very. It depends when the male chauvinist side of you come out, and I don't think you know who you talking to, and so I've been trying to figure out, bruh, who is you talking to? Because here's the thing. I respect whatever you say. If you ask me to do something, I will do it. But like people know, we've said all the time, we are action and solution people. Yeah. You know who you marry. Yeah. And so for you to want me to stand there and look at something.
But that's all you were asked to do.
But it was twisted.
Right, but that's why I said, tell me.
Right.
I didn't say touch nothing.
But we're a team, so I figured we could untwist it together, baby.
Yeah, but the part of the team that I needed you to do was just stand there, look pretty.
So basically what you said is, every now and then I need to use my listening skills?
Could you? That's all I'm saying. Just every once in a while, use your listening skills.
Okay, my listening skills.
So, but that, and I recognize that part of me, and I know that's a flaw. Mm-hmm. I know that part, and I do everything I can to ensure that part of me does not rear its ugly head too much. Yeah. And because that part of me can be very disrespectful. And I recognize that, and I understand that. Because that part of me goes into, and which is crazy, even though I've never been in the military, I have somewhat of a military mentality sometimes. Mm-hmm. Just do what I tell you to do. No questions, no talk back. I gave you a direct order.
See?
Now I need you to comply with that direct order.
And if you guys remember, that's why I tell you I roll my eyes at him a lot, because he goes into managerial, like he's my manager or my boss, and I don't know where. No, that is why I thank God when it came to roles, we did communicate about it.
We did.
We came in not in the beginning. I think the first 2 years was a hot mess.
It took what, about 3 years?
Yeah, about 3 years in to go, let's talk about our roles and the roles that we're going to play, because you trying to play a role and I'm trying to play a role that actually wasn't even designed for us. And we had to find the roles that were good for our marriage.
Yeah, because that script wasn't ours.
That was our script. That was our parents' script, our family and our grandparents' script, but it wasn't our script. And I think about, like you said, about 3 years in, we had to sit down and go, what is our roles in this marriage that's going to work? Because we're in a book that doesn't even belong to us, and we're going to have to write our own manual for our marriage. And I think that's where we became to really work. And I think that's when we came up with, you do laundry 1 week, I do laundry 1 week.
Yeah.
You cook 1 week, I don't never cook.
I gotta go on strike. I gotta tell him.
He literally has to go on strike, guys, for me to cook.
Yeah.
And when he says that, sometimes I fix him a sandwich, because and then he really bad.
Family. Hold on. And we're about to transition to something else real quick.
I'm just saying though.
Understand something real quick, family.
Just saying though. Don't do it. Don't do it, Sanchez. Don't do it.
What'll happen is this. Like I'll take the whole week and I'll cook, and because my wife loves chicken, she loves any form of chicken.
I do.
So I'll do a whole hen. I'll roast a chicken.
Lemon and pepper wings.
I'll do lemon and pepper wings.
Yes.
I'll do homemade mashed potatoes.
Yes, Lord.
I'll like the whole week. I'll just like do full meals, like whole meals out here, and then like that following week I'll be like, babe, I cooked all last week. I ain't doing it this week. I don't feel like doing it.
Yep, and that's exactly how he says it to me too.
Yeah, I don't feel like doing it. It's on you.
Don't tell him what I say.
And she be like, okay, well, it's a sandwich night tonight then. I'm like, what? She like, yeah, you just getting a sandwich tonight.
But it's a sandwich with love.
But I'm like, but I did whole meals out here. Mm-mm. So how do I just get a sandwich?
Because I do sandwich with love, like Subway. And
ain't no love in a Subway sandwich.
And Jimmy John. Is that Jimmy John?
Jimmy John. But one thing, no, we're not.
Okay.
So we led, actually, as you were talking though, we were talking about defining roles, and you said something. You was like, we had a conversation earlier, not early enough, but early on.
Yeah.
We had a conversation about roles, and we sat down and kind of defined what it looked like for us.
Right.
That led me to a question. Refresh my memory. As we were doing that, did we ever define the rules for our marriage? Because every relationship has to have rules.
Yeah, they do.
Whether you sit down, because this goes back to the premarital part of it. And I said this in midweek moment. The one thing you have to do in a relationship is that you have to sit down and have real, honest conversations before you get too far into it. And part of that should be defining rules for your relationship. So did we do that?
We only had one rule.
Divorce is not an option.
I was gonna. How you gonna ask me and then say it? We came in this marriage with one rule: divorce is not an option. Everything else was kind of like fair game, which was not good for the first 3 years. So we had to really work on this.
Yeah, because you threw your ring at me.
Yeah, because he tried to get me, so we had to know divorce wasn't an option. And I think that's card block. That's the black card.
Right.
That's not the platinum card. That's the black card. That's the card. No matter what the situation is, no matter what we say, we throw the black card down, bruh. You ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere unless somebody died. And that reminds us, I think, of the next rule that we did make is that we would work at it, that we would communicate better.
Yeah.
Because I think that's where Chaz and Peaches came in. Where we decided that we would work better. So what we would do is chat. For people who don't know, Chaz and Peaches is our alter ego.
That's our freedom fighters.
That's our freedom fighters.
Yeah.
And what happens is they get down and they get gritty and dirty. The only thing is once they finish talking about it, they cannot take or have an attitude and bring it into the marriage.
Yeah, I'm gonna explain it to you this way. So for my older heads, so Chaz and Peaches are the A team. They are situated where there's a situation that's out of your control and you can't handle it. You call in the A team. You call in Face and Murdoch and Hannibal and BA.
Come
they
on,
go
somebody.
in.
You remember everybody?
Remember them.
Come on, nerd.
They go in. they take care of the situation and they roll out. That's what Peaches and Chaz does.
Yeah, we had to make that. We had to make them come alive because we sometimes when you're talking, and they were good friends. They're best friends. And so because sometimes when you're talking and you get the title of husband and wife, you take everything so personal. You make an attack about you being a wife, an attack about you being a husband. So we had to find another way to still talk about the things that was in the marriage, but so gritty, so gutter, so ghetto sometimes.
Sometimes it has to be.
It has to be. And then understand that when it's all said and done, that we come up with another plan, but we do not walk out of that conversation and take Angela and Sanchez. Angela and Sanchez can't take it personal. Angela and Sanchez can't throw it back up in their face. Angela and Sanchez can't be like, oh, but you said you can't do any of that.
Right. And that actually led to the next rule that we established for our marriage was, and actually I kind of initiated this one because you fought me on this one for a long time.
Oh Lord!
It was the rule that you can't take it personal.
Yeah.
Which and when I say this to a lot of married couples, and when I say this to a lot of couples, engaged couples, you cannot take it personal.
It feels personal,
and you're
y'all.
like, but how is that possible? Because this is the person I'm married, or this is the person I'm going to marry. This is the person I'm raising kids with. I'm going to raise kids with. Mm-hmm. This is the person that I'm supposed to be with the rest of my life. How can I not take it personal?
Right.
Because what happens is that what sometimes we fail to realize is that the attack is not an attack on you. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of the times, and we had to determine this, and I was really guilty of it early on in our marriage, and sometimes I still am. I get mad at you for stuff that has nothing to do with you. Mm-hmm. I get mad at you for something that reminded me of a previous relationship, or something that reminded me that my mother may have done, or something that a family member or a situation that I was in.
Right,
and
right.
And I get mad at you behind it when it has nothing to do with you because I've never even had that conversation with you.
Right.
We've never talked about that situation.
Right.
We've never had that conversation about it. So now I'm angry with you about something that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. My favorite times to get mad at Sanchez, to be honest, this is just to make you laugh, guys, because this cracks me up, is I had a dream.
Oh, my God.
About something he did in my dream. Oh, I wake up with an attitude and be looking at him like it took a lot. He was like, oh, because it was in your dream, baby. I wake up mad at that joker. I be rolling my eyes in the whole nine.
Family, and this is family. This is not a joke. And I know you've seen the scenario in bad romantic comedies, but this is really my life.
I really do. I don't know why.
And she has. I remember this one time so vividly. She had a dream that I was cheating on her.
Yes, I did. And
with some random chick that her mind created. And she stayed mad at me for like 3 days.
I didn't really say mad. I just kept looking at you.
But I didn't do anything.
I don't know. It's my mind, guys. It's my mind. The other rule that we made a decision was about the kids. We made a decision early on that we would stick together. The kids would not try to use us against each other. We did a united front. We made sure. So how we did it was any disciplinary actions that were taken for the boys went to Sanchez. Any that went to my daughter went to me, but we also got back together before we made a final decision of whatever was going to happen. And we also made a decision early in the game that the kids could not come to us they had to come to us with a plan and an option or something that they want to do at least 48 hours. They couldn't come to us like the same day or in 24 hours.
Don't come to me the day of talking about you want to
do something. We had to come up because the kids were trying to get us.
Yeah, but that led to, actually, I'm glad you said that because that led to a couple of different rules we had created.
Yeah.
And one rule that it wasn't necessarily a rule, but for me was I had to define something for myself, is that I had to explain to the kids, you come first.
Yeah.
The kids did not come first.
Yeah.
And my mindset, and I've always
they were so broken.
I've always said this to my kids, is that before she's your mother, she's my wife. Mm-hmm. And I take care of my wife. I look out for my wife. I will kill for my wife.
Right.
So I'll fight people for my wife, whether it's my kids or not. I will fight you when it comes to my wife.
Right.
So I had to establish with them very early on that my wife comes first. Before your mother, my wife comes first.
Yeah.
And so I'm always going to do everything I can to protect her, even if it means protecting her from the kids.
Yeah.
So, but
I don't like that rule as much now.
Why not?
Because the kids are out of the house now.
Right.
And they're in these hardcore about to be married relationships.
Right.
And now they significant other come before me. I be toe up. Guys, like, because he trained them and he raised them so well to understand that concept of that their significant other comes first and not before anything else, you know. And so here I am, the mom, you know, holidays and dinners, and they be like, I don't know if I like it as much what you've raised these men to be, because now I'm like, oh man.
Yeah. But that also, remember you and I sat down and we sat down with the kids and we explained to them that you and I collectively, we're the United Nations.
We are.
We are united.
We are
front.
it.
We don't, you know, also, I'm sorry, because it kind of into that. Another rule that we made was if we both don't agree, we don't do it.
We don't do it.
So what happens?
Ooh, that make me sick sometimes, though.
Yeah, because talking to a lot of marriages, you can't talk to a marriage. Talking to a lot of couples and hearing their stories, and a lot of what they were talking about was, well, this person did this and I didn't know, or this person did this, or they went behind my back and did something, and we found ourselves early on in our marriage kind of falling into that same thing.
We did. So the first 3 years was rocky.
I don't know how we made God. That's the only way we made it through those first
God
3 years.
did that. Thank you, Jesus.
But one rule that we came to agreement on was, no matter what it is, no matter how big or how small, no matter how much the other person wants to do it, if we do not collectively agree upon it doesn't get done.
Yeah.
And I think that hurt you more than it hurt me.
Oh, my goodness. I don't even want to discuss it. Golly. I think that also had us to what we did with the children as well, because it made us also do a free fall. What we did with the kids was we all get in that living room, free fall, say whatever you want to say. May not change our mind, may not change your punishment, may not change anything, or it could change the ideas that we thought.
Yeah.
But you had a free fall as long as you were respectful.
That was the only ground rule.
Yeah, be respectful.
Yeah, and family, what we're referring to a free-for-all is literally kind of what it sounds like, is that we would give because the way we grew up, I'm just talking about Angela and myself.
Yeah.
Our voice wasn't heard coming up. It wasn't, we came up during a time frame of, as a child, you are seen and not heard.
Yeah, stay in your place.
So no one really asked your opinion. No one asked you how you felt on anything.
Right.
No one wanted to have an in-depth conversation with you because you were a child.
Right.
So that's how we grew up. So another rule you and I agreed upon is that we said we would not do that to our kids.
Would not.
And so what we did was that we would give them an opportunity. Whatever's on your heart.
Yes.
Say it. However you have to say it. Say it, whether it's related to us, whether it's related to yourself, something
whatever
you're going through, whatever it's related to, say it. The only rule is that you cannot be disrespectful.
Right.
That was it. Everything else was off the table.
Yeah.
And what that did for us, and not saying it works for everybody, but what that did for us, it allowed us to open up honest dialogue with our kids.
Yeah.
To the point, you know, now they tell us stuff. We like, do y'all really want to tell us that?
Right. Do we? Because sometimes we be like, dang, did we want to know that?
Did we really
want to know that? Like, what? But it allowed them to negotiate.
Yeah.
Because, okay, we don't like our bedtime being this time, or we want our phone longer, or all these other things. You can negotiate. Don't mean that you're going to win a negotiation, but you definitely can negotiate. And a lot of times, unfortunately, I didn't like it because Sanchez I felt like he was always on the kid's side, and I'm what do you call me? I'm a hovering parent, or
you're a hoverer.
A hoverer parent, and I'm a stricter parent. He's strict. That I would like to strict. I don't know how. I didn't like that word.
If you want to get to me, bring me logic.
Yeah.
That gets to me. If you want to sway me one way or another, bring me logic.
Yeah.
And if it's sound logic, I can work with that, because sound logic can make me change my mind.
I'm going straight on feelings.
Yeah, see, and if you come
I'm going straight on feelings. Nope. I don't think you're old enough. Nope.
If you come to me on strictly emotion, if you start, I'm behind the curtain a little bit. If you start any conversation with me, and your first sentence is, I feel, you've already lost that conversation at that point.
And the kids, and they learned him, though. They learned you. I mean, like, and again, these are just rules that we had, and because again, people asking us, like, what's rules for marriage? We're just telling you some of the rules that we use. You're going to find your own way and your own rules, but the goal is to communicate and talk to each other about it. I think that's the greatest part of it when you're finding rules for your family. Rules secure you. Rules keep you secured. It keeps you sane. It keeps your mind right. You know what I'm saying?
And the thing is this, and because also we've had the conversations where they say, well, I don't feel comfortable having this conversation, or I'm scared to have this conversation. And the honest and brutal part of that is that if you're with someone that you're afraid to have any conversation with, that's not the right person.
Yeah, rethink that.
You need to rethink it, I'll be honest with you. Because if you're planning to spend the rest of your life with an individual, there should be nothing
off
that
the
you
table.
can't talk about with that person. One thing, and I'm so happy that we've never got to this point. But one thing my wife said to me in a very early stage of our marriage, and she even to this day still says 20 years in, if I ever get to the point where I don't want to do this anymore,
tell me.
Sit down and have a conversation. If I ever get to the point where I think I need to cheat, or someone else is intriguing me more than she does, or if I want to go explore a new avenue, give her the opportunity.
Yeah.
Sit down and have that conversation with her and let her make her decision on how she wants to handle it, and don't take her options from her.
Yeah, and I don't like that. Don't take my options from me. If you feel like our marriage is not, I always tell them, if you feel like this marriage is not, because we do check-ins. We do check-ins year to year, sometimes every 3 years, every 4 years, every 5 years, to see if this is still where you want to be. And of course, option is still not, death is where you're going, but I like to give people options. But just if this is not where you want to be, and this isn't, and you're not happy no more, and you feel that there's someplace something else you want to do, let's talk about that. Don't just one day I come and you done walked out, or you done cheated or did something without giving me the option, and not you being man enough or me being woman enough to say, hey, this is where I am, and let's communicate that, because it may be you're there because we're not communicating. It may be there because we're not giving each other what we need at the time, So I always tell them, I said, give me the option. Don't take my option away from me. Talk to me about it. Let's see where we are with that, where you are with that. It's going to hurt for that time, but I prefer to have really open and good conversation. I don't want to go through wallets and find something on Instagram and go on. I don't, listen, I don't need that in my life. Just tell me.
I don't want to live like that. I see, and I know a lot of the times it's jokes or whatever, but I see like a lot of things where, the man almost kills himself if his woman tries to access his phone, or, that she doesn't have his passcode to his phone, or if his phone rings, he almost died to make sure that she don't see it.
He done broke a hip.
He done broke a hip.
He done broke a hip. Flying across the couch.
And me personally, I just don't want to live like that. And like, Ange knows my passcode. She knows anything I have, like all my passwords, all my emails. She knows all my passcodes. She knows everything. Because I just don't want to live that way. Like, most of the time, I throw Ange my phone's like, here, take my phone. Oh, she got to tell me, babe, you left your phone, right?
Right.
Because I'm good for just leaving my phone. I would leave the house and just leave my phone. And she's like, babe, grab your phone.
Because if I need you. I think, too, but I don't touch anything. I don't touch his phone, his wallet, anything. I don't have to. I'm a true believer, and again, y'all may be thinking I'm over spiritual, whatever, fit up, whatever you want. I'm a true believer that whatever I need to know, God gonna put it in my lap, and it's never failed me yet with my kids or anything. Whatever information that I need to know, sooner or later, God is gonna put it on my lap, and I truly believe in a spirit of discernment, and I trust Him, and I love Him, and I'm just not gonna go looking for anything. If God wants me to know something, He's gonna give it to me. So the rule is just love each other and have a good time. I think not just because I think in the beginning of our marriage, because the way that we came in together, we had our own children, our own lives,
right.
And we're a blended family, and we had bad relationships. And I think I know for me, I came in the first 3 years, and we didn't just get we came in oh, it's gonna be great. Nah. We came in, we worked on that, because I came in believing and waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was waiting for him to do something, say something, cheat something, do something. So it's not like I came in, I just love him. I just knew that was some undue stress that I didn't want to give myself, because there was no need. I'm already falling out with him for something that he already did that he never did, you know? So why not enjoy the time and love on each other? And I think those are some of the rules, again, that we use. And now, again, these are our rules. They may not work for you. Make your own rules.
Yeah, just
talk about your own roles.
sit down. So the two things that we're going to leave with you, because we're gonna wrap up this particular session. So the two things we're going to leave with you is A, sit down and have a conversation and define your roles for your relationship.
Not your parents and what you saw.
Not your parents, not society, not nature versus nurture. No. You define your role for your relationship, for what works best for you.
Yeah.
And then also make sure you sit down and define your rules, because everyone has a line.
Yeah.
And no two people's lines are the same. So you have to sit down and have that conversation of what rules are we going to set that we can live by.
Yeah.
For our marriage, for our relationship, for our children, and have those honest conversations.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that, babe, because it's your rules for your marriage, rules for your children, rules that you're going to live by for your finances, rules that you're going to live by spiritually, rules you're going to live by physically. Doesn't mean those rules can't change, and your rules can change, but there needs to be a stone cold core that will never change in certain things that you do.
So, babe?
Yes!
What final thought do you have for the family?
Final thoughts that we have is, guys, we love you. That's my final. Honestly, we love you. We just trying to give you what's worked, what has worked, what has not worked for us. And we just want to help you guys enjoy your journey, you know, in your marriage, in your relationship. That's what I got.
My final thought is vulnerability. Do not be afraid to be vulnerable. Vulnerability does not mean weakness. It actually takes more strength to be vulnerable than it does to be bound.
Why I come out with just one little hood thing and you always philosophical?
So, family, as always, we thank you for being a part of this journey.
I'm the hood and you the philosophical one.
So we consider ourselves
deep.
We consider ourselves an interactive
so
podcast. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook, all under Crenshaw Corner. We have an email address, thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com.
We do.
And then also you can find us on our website, www.thecrenshawcorner.com.
Yes.
Family, welcome to our journey.
We love you guys. Bye.